Good morning. Yep, it's working. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. And this is my spiritual home. So this is our meditation segment of today. So I welcome you to, if you feel comfortable, you can close your outer eyes, or you can gaze your view down. And my name is Malika Devi. I am one of the practitioners here, and I'm also on a ministerial journey right now. So my class I'm taking right now is called Mind and Cosmos. It's one of the interesting class that I'm truly enjoying it. And today's meditation came from mindfulnessexercise.com. And it is about how we can drop our suitcase of worries and regrets. So to set the stage, worries and regrets is part of the physical world experience. So how do we manage that in life? And how do we deal with it in a daily basis? So get comfortable and adjust yourself. If you feel any tightness in your physical body, just relax. Release your tension. Whatever posture is comfortable to you is perfectly fine. And just take a moment and scan your body. And just make sure it is softened and relaxed. Be aware of your body the whole time. And just feel when you're breathing, your chest rises and falls each time. As you center in yourself this moment, imagine yourself that you're standing in the outside of your home, and you're carrying a too heavy suitcase. And those suitcases full of worry about the future on the one side, and the other side, you're carrying a suitcase full of regret about your past. Just take a moment standing there, holding this too heavy suitcase, reflecting about each one. As you're reflecting on your future, how it will come on its own. Whatever you're worrying may never happen. Standing there, Now you're reflecting on your past. That's in the other suitcase. Just consider that you can't change your past. It cannot be changed. All we can do is learn from your past. Whatever course correction we can make sense, we can become skillful, we can become a better person, and it's time to just move on. Standing there in the street, feel the weight of these suitcases. Observing the wisdom of your own reflection right now. Make a conscious decision. Do you want to drop the suitcase of worry about the future? Are you willing? If so, simply drop it. Standing there in the street with the other suitcase so heavy about the past, make a decision, a conscious decision. Do you want to drop it? Then just drop it. As soon as you have dropped the 2 suitcases, walk into your home. Take a seat where you are and pop down so relaxed. Like someone just came home from a long vacation. Dropping suitcases and just relaxing. Resting in the present, just breathing. Resting in the natural well-being of your nervous system. Just resting in fundamental well-being of awareness itself. Resting as if your meaningful life awareness while worry and regret is not part of life. Allow yourself simply rest. Sense of peace, joy, well-being, laughter, happiness. Without carrying the heavy suitcase of worry about the future or full of regrets about the past. Just rest here, your body right now, with total relaxation throughout your body and mind. And just relax for a few more minutes in the silence. And just remember, the true nature of our life is happiness, joy, love. And even though regrets and worries are part of this physical experience, we always have the choice of not carrying with us, and the wisdom to know that nature of life is always full of life that flows through each and every one of us. So let us bring our consciousness, our mind, back into this room, and just be grateful for this day, this moment, being right here, right now. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you all for joining me in this meditation session. Our Sunday celebration will start at 10:30. We will see you then.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, welcome to CSL Cape Coral. So I'm just going to ask everyone who can to stand up, and just shake it up a little bit. Shake up your spirit and your body and just wake it up as we awaken to the sounds of the Big Love Band. Give them some love.
Good morning. Thank you, Delia, for getting everyone on their feet. I don't have to do it now this morning.
All right.
All right, what are we?
One big family.
Good job. They're learning.
Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Come on now. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Go Scott.
Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm awake now. My name's Idalia Romero, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. And just a little reminder of things. Ernest Holmes is the founder of our philosophy, and we teach the universal truths here found in the spiritual teachings, both traditional and contemporary. Please visit our website at CSL Cape Coral for information on upcoming events, to submit a prayer request, or to send your comments and questions. Thank you. We're going to give just our love and thanks to Malika Davey, who is here. She is holding high watch during our service today, and she's going to embrace us in that love, knowing that we are whole and complete right where we are standing right now. So now, without further ado, I don't know, you guys jumped up and became awake And I'm just going to read an affirmation before they get started. I wake up to the truth of spirit that I am, so give them some love again, the Big Love Band.
Good morning. All right, we know this one, right? Yeah? All right, so you are required to sing along.
Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love.
There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy.
There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time.
It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
There's nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be that isn't where you were meant to be.
It's easy. All you need is love. Everybody. All you need is love. Come on now. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
All you
Need is love. Everybody. All you need is love. Come on. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
Please stay standing as we welcome and bestow this blessing on one another. Ready? Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We know who you truly are. You are the spiritual image and likeness of God. We appreciate you, we love you, and we are thankful that you are here. Welcome to the center. Okay. So you guys ready? Give them some love. Here comes the Big Love Band.
One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you.
Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power.
We speak so many languages, different clothing, different color, different names. The difference is only dangerous when we forget that in our hearts we're all the same. Remember when we close our eyes to see that such differences was never meant to be.
God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign, it's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power,
Oh,
one power,
one power,
one power, one power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's one power, one power, one power, one power,
one power.
one power.
Whoa. One power for sure, for sure. So now it's time for us to just hold our young people. We wish them to attend our youth program. Is there anybody here today? Our little people? Well, you know what? We're just going to take a moment to bless all the children of the world. We're just going to take this moment to hold them in our hearts, knowing that they're all safe and well. And now I'm going to introduce one of our special people around here, Miss Pam Lambert.
Thank you. My name is Pam Lambert, and I am a practitioner here at the center. And thank you for that song, because I said the last time, in some conversation or email, I said to the Leadership Council that the next time I have pulpit, I'm going to read What We Believe. And what we believe is about what that song said. So thank you very much. You kind of did my job. This little magazine, this isn't this month's, this is another month. They're all available out in our bookstore. It is 96 years old and has been published consistently for monthly for 96 years so far and counting. And right in this is page 10, every month it has what we believe. So for our newcomers, this might, if you're a first-time visitor, this might be valuable and interesting to know. And for those of us, it's a good for a refresher, and it's just good to hear once in a while. So this is What We Believe by Ernest Holmes. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but it is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality and the immortality and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us and that we can experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is the one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of the mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. So now is the time when we bring to mind any situation or person that may need some healing, perhaps even more good that we want to have. But we'll hold this for a few seconds together, just a short time, closing our eyes and just knowing the perfection of all. So after reading What We Believe and Daniel Nahmad's song, we do know that there is only one power, just one power, that created everything out of itself. And I know that each and every one of us here, watching online, everyone to the far reaches of the universe, all our thoughts and things and everything we see, it's all God in manifest. And so I know that the perfect truth of each and every one of us and each and every condition is abundance, perfect health, joy, love, all good. It's all life. And so I know today that all our thoughts manifest, good and bad, what we put into that universal law. I also know that as we welcome our speaker today, that each and every person listening to what he says takes home something very special, an aha moment, a truth revealed, something remembered, and we are so grateful. And so I place my words into that impress, that universal law of mind that was talked about in what we believe, knowing that all our words come to bear. Law of mind cannot say no to us. It is impartial and impersonal, and I am so grateful. And if you'll please join me in saying, and so it is. So today I have the honor to introduce a favorite. Here it says, I see that. Please welcome Ron Frost. Ron Frost always says that he's Shell Redfern's practitioner student, but I also remember that he took first year with me with Emile Govero. We both took first year twice, actually. Like it wasn't hard enough or good enough. We decided to take it twice. Anyway, so Ron is an author, speaker, life coach, and sales coach. And he is also a licensed practitioner that studied under Reverend Shell and Emile Govero here at our Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral. And Ron is now in Sarasota, but we do get to see him once in a while, and we're so grateful for that. Ron has a popular book, Getting Unstuck, The 7 Keys to Creating More Prosperity, Fulfillment, and Joy. And he's a practical self-coaching guide to help the reader live a more self-aware and empowered life. He and his book have been featured on numerous podcasts as well as AM and FM radio and across talk shows and across the nation. He is a founder of Positive Momentum Coaching, a leader of Southwest Florida Speakers Toastmasters Club, and National Speakers Association, and he also was a former Leadership Council member here at our center. So Ron, I have to put the caveat, or not caveat, the addition, because we all remember, well, several of us remember Ron and his family. His biggest love is his family, which comprises of his beautiful wife, Fawny, very true, she is beautiful, 2 amazing daughters, Nicole and Ashley, 3 dogs, and 2 cats. So if you'll please welcome Ron Frost. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Feels so great to be here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Pam, for that wonderful introduction. And one more time for the Big Love Band and the music that they brought forth. Truly, all we need is love. So that's the message. I'm done. I can sit down now. And of course, one power, one infinite power. And that's what we teach here, that's what we know. And the more that we resonate with that, the more that we can align truly with our own magnificence, as well as the more we can bring forth into the healing nature of the planet. And I want to start first by sharing something, I think something amazing, something I'm super, super excited about, is I just realized that I'm probably going to live to about 124 years of age. 124 years of age. Simple calculation, I'm turning 62 in a few weeks, and I haven't had my midlife crisis yet. So, yeah, I see a lot of you probably doing your own math, but the reality is we are eternal beings, that we can live and exist within this planetary system for a time that is what we call physical existence, but yet we're eternal and we're beyond that. We've always been and we will always ever be. And we were born of light, we were born of love. And so the subject matter today, which is called Got Me Hypnotized. It's a little different subject than what we're normally talking about at this center. And I would love to change the title to say, Welcome to the Great Awakening. Because isn't there something strange? Isn't there something different that we're noticing? Do we notice that perhaps there's some changes, maybe some things that are different than what we expected? Maybe there's an awakening within us, a new resolution of truth that before maybe wasn't there? And yet, as we start to see things that are crumbling around behind us, something is being rebirthed in humanity, in the present moment, in this planet, and even in and through us. And I think part of this comes through what I would call the 3 levels of awareness. Even though we might see things that are destruction, in the Hindus they call it the Kali Yuga. It's the destruction and the rebirthing. And that's always somehow going on, but we're seeing that quite a bit today. And it makes us question reality. And I think it's our right to question reality. It's our right to not be afraid, to not necessarily be within that comfort zone of what we would call the system, to somehow raise the question. Because true hypnosis is when we are somehow triggered around the First Amendment right of freedom of speech, but yet not really realizing that the same system has hijacked our freedom of thought. And so the Great Awakening is really this becoming, and it's this 3 levels of awareness. And a lot of that is taught here. So thank goodness for you, for being here at this moment, for gravitating for some reason that you chose to follow the Center for Spiritual Living, follow Science of Mind. Something inside you was that urge that was seeking long before today, and that perhaps you have this head start, and you are the light workers on this planet to help raise the vibration of humanity. True? Very true. Very true. And so the levels of awareness that irks through us, that wakens through us, is the awareness, am I giving my power away to an outside authority? Am I giving my power away to an outside savior? The human condition has been that way. A lot of systems are built that way. We give our power away to whatever source, and we may not necessarily recognize the source of the true, what I would call, whether you want to call it intuition or our eternal guidance system or our divine nature of spirit that's within us, our lie detector, our truth detector, whatever word we want to give it, it's coming back home to that and understanding, is this true to me? Because we're at that moment of questioning, which is a great moment. The other level of awareness is to realize that what we teach here, that there's one presence, and this divine presence is within us, and that we are creators. We are creators of our own reality. And individually, collectively, when we come together with an open heart of love and begin to see the world the way we wish we want it to be, we can create heaven on earth. And the last is the awareness of our emotions and our triggers and the things that we carry, and to be able to resolve and to be able to heal. Because that we know that we can let go at any moment. We can forgive, whether it's another or ourselves, for anything that may be holding us down. And when we see that this thing that comes up, that, well, maybe it was truth, but today it's not truth. Or maybe I felt like I was being lied to. And quite often, what happens when we feel we're being lied to? It irks us. It's not a happy feeling. But at the same time, it's a rebirthing of greater awareness. It's also the ability to say, where can I see within me this thing called a trigger that I own? Outside of me, I could point the finger at, but I own the trigger. I own the emotion. And that's shining a light on the very thing that I can heal. So there's value in that situation to be able to see it that way. So when we come first from giving our power away, and I spoke about this once when I was here before, and it's really understanding the true nature of reality that we live within. And I often contemplate about Ernest Holmes. If I was to speak to Ernest Holmes today, what would Ernest Holmes share? With the wisdom of all that we know, what would Ernest Holmes share? And as many of us have read a lot of his works, the two things that I find that are very resonant, that would come, I believe, in a conversation from Ernest Holmes today, would be, number one, don't make me another Jesus. And number two, there is more. There is more. There is more. And quite often we hear that. He said, I took this teaching as far as I could take it. It is up to you to take it further. And so to be able to take everything that we know and not to be afraid to think outside the box, just like Pam shared in the principles, that the revelation of truth can come true through anybody, any source, any person that's, because we're all connected to source, revelation of truth can come through any of us. And perhaps it's our responsibility or respondability to be able to respond, not necessarily in a way of being triggered emotionally, but being able to allow that to reveal a new truth. And so for many of you, you may have heard me talk at one time, a number of Sundays ago, about another teaching called the Hermetic Principles from the Emerald Tablets. And this has been carried forth in a lot of different traditions. It's been carried, the Rosicrucians have taught this. There's the Hermetic teachings, which come from Hermes Trismegistus, the origination of an ancient teaching that's been here on this planet that predates a lot of other teaching. It doesn't contradict, it complements what we learn in Science of Mind. And there's 7 principles. Everything is mental. There's one thing, so everything is mental. But there is one principle that's in there, which is called the principle of polarity. And it explains a lot of what's going on today. Because even though there is one power, one thing, at the essence of God, there is nothing but true love. There is nothing but true love. And what does true love do? It grants onto itself free will. Every manifestation, human, is granted with free will. Because it's unconditional. I do not condition you. I allow you to go out and play. Just like a mother saying to a child, go out and play, don't get hurt, but you're free to do what you want to do. Learn, grow, become the best that you can be. And Source says this unto itself. It says, I grant you free will. I'm not going to condition you or judge you based on your behavior. So humans can have intent, positive or negative. Law of polarity says there's this spectrum, whatever you want to call it, up, down, left, right, cold, hot. There's this perspective of 2 different expressions of the same thing. Quite often we get tripped up when we confuse this with duality. Duality means there's a separation between me and Source, and that's not true. We don't teach that. The truth is we're only all one. But it's understanding that in the physical nature, there can be this thing that can express itself in a variety of ways, good or bad. Because sometimes we become spiritually naive when we start to say God is good and everything is good, and therefore I trust everything. True? How far does that take us, right? Then we realize if we take, for instance, Source is the divine nature within us. It's our intuition. It's our inner knowing. It's the silence that we can tap into. It's our own innate purpose and sacred sense of beingness that we know so true. And many times it's dormant because we're so consumed with the outer world. And we may put emphasis on something like science. Well, science is really a first or second derivative of the divine. It's human being able to observe nature, to calculate and to measure and to formulate an opinion. And then another deviation or derivative from that brings back a source that delivers it to humanity saying, this is what is true, follow me. And how many times have we seen distortion with something that we would say, well, whether it's science within whatever field, whether it's education, whether it's our food supply, whether it's modern medicine, whatever, we follow something because we're conditioned to follow because we validate it as science. But I would invite you to listen to the inner voice, listen to what's true for you. Break away, free yourself from technology or the TV. Because quite often, it may not necessarily serve. We can say God is good and God is good all the time, and that is true, but by the nature of polarity, we understand that human can express with error or intention. And it's not the thing, it's the intention behind the thing. It's just like a hammer. A hammer can build a house, but it can be very destructive as well. It can kill a person. And when we become trusting to a level, it's just like a blind person. It's just, if a blind person needed a hand of somebody who had sight, that person could be very, very, very good and take them on a day of shopping, can buy groceries, can serve that person, can guide them around every bump in the road, or can lead them in front of traffic. But when we wake up the voice of inner sight, the faculty that has been with us all this time, we come to a realization that we have our own power. So instead of giving our power away to an outside source, it's about coming back. And that's what the Great Awakening is. It's a shaking up to wake up that is really happening in humanity to this day. And quite often, what I see is this whole thing about our emotional triggers. Our emotional triggers are very, very good indicators of where we are at and where we still need to address something. Again, respondability as opposed to reactive, because quite often we have these knee-jerk reactions, and a lot of this comes from the conscious division that exists within the programming of humanity, and to be aware of that at some level. Because if we start to look around and we say, well, you know, if we really want to invent an earth school for humanity to awake from, we would throw things in there like division. Probably put up two predominant political parties. We'd probably create a variety of religious identities. We'd have boundaries called countries, and we create grievances between them. And through fear and manipulation, we can control to the point that humanity wakes up from that. Does this sound familiar? And so when we are aware of the triggers that are there, the emotions that are there, and that we can release them. And we are a composite. We carry forth not only the things that we have experienced within our lifetime from childhood until today, but many other aspects of social, cultural conditioning, inherited generational beliefs and trauma. And as we heal ourselves, we're healing humanity. We're healing all of this. So it's our ability to work on ourselves is truly one of the greatest blessings and the greatest values. Our vibration is our biggest contribution, not only to ourselves, but to the entire world. So when we realize this, I had an experience when I was between high school and college. I worked at a restaurant called Friendly's Restaurant in Vernon, Connecticut. These two gentlemen, you probably were there when I was working there. I started as a busboy, a dishwasher, and it was a great experience. And I ended up becoming a cook. I ended up working on what they call the fountain, serving ice cream and milkshakes. And I made a lot of friends there, and it was a wonderful time. But we had a very peculiar moment. And it was a moment where we were robbed. We were robbed. I know it's not a happy moment, but it was somewhat of a bizarre moment. But all I remember was I actually was off shift, but I decided to actually get a sandwich and sit. No customers were in. I was not far from the door. I was sitting at the counter, and we typically lock the door after the last customer leaves. And everybody else was working, and I was just sitting there enjoying my sandwich, burger and fries. And all of a sudden, I hear everybody down now facing the ground. And I'm starting to formulate what is going on. This is not a normal thing. And the waitress that was not that far from me, She had already taken to the floor, and I'm thinking, like, something's wrong here. I need to do the same thing. And even though she was I could hear her crying. It was like nothing. Like, you're emotionless. You heard this several times. Down on the ground now. There was another thing that happened, not connected. Although there is one thing, so everything really is connected. During the middle of this, and this place had been scoped out for a while. This person that was robbing this place knew at a certain moment in time that the door would be locked, at a certain moment in time that the dishwasher would take the garbage out to the dumpster, and that he'd be waiting there with a gun, and he'd walk the dishwasher back in, and he'd find, typically there was one person, like the manager that on shift, that had the ability to go in and get the money out of the safe. Smart person. However, there was something else that was going on that happened by divine appearance or connection or whatever. Somebody ran a light further up the road, cop threw his lights on. This person decided to pull over where? Into Friendly's parking lot. And we're like lying on our ground, and we get this glimpse of this light because it's hitting all the windows, it's hitting out the walls and everything else, and we're like, they're here. Wow, that was fast. How did these, it's like, I was thinking cop. Did I manifest this like instantly? Saved by the light. And anyways, what happened was after that cop didn't know what was going on at all. The robber left. Clear left, never got the money, just disappeared. We don't know, we're still on the ground. So a little bit of time goes by. Finally, we ended up having the police that came down there and they investigated and everything. The stories. He was 6'4". No, he was maybe like 5'10". He was wearing a mask and gloves. I know exactly what he looked like. He didn't have a gun. The gun was blue. There were 3 shots fired. Like, we're all like looking, where's these 3 shots? Like, there's no holes in the ceiling. Everybody's story was a different story. And they argued amongst themselves. And quite often when emotion comes up, we bring it into our own story, because the truth is we don't see the world the way the world is. We see the world the way we are. And ironically, there was 2 waitresses that were best friends that were having a fight over what they thought was true. One's like, you weren't there, you were up front, I was back here, I saw the whole thing. How many times are we divided about our opinions? Right? This is the nature of what we see that's going on in the world. If you want to control humanity, use fear, use the emotion of fear, and keep people divided. And so as we awaken to the system, as we start to realize what's happening, we awaken to our divine truth. And we start to see things, and we start to notice things, and we start to make choices that are different. Now, another odd thing that happened to me was I was, coming to this center, I think back in 2009, 2010. In 2011, Fonnie and myself decided to go to a Hay House gathering called an I Can Do It seminar. Has anybody ever heard of these? Yeah. And it was in Tampa, Florida, and it was Wayne Dyer was the guest speaker. So it's like, we really want to go there for Wayne, but we signed up for the whole weekend, and we took all these other classes. And when we showed up, we arrived a little bit late. Wayne wasn't until that evening, but we didn't miss his speech. But when we arrived there, we were trying to get into, I believe it was Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, and the hypnotist specialist, and we really wanted to get into to his program. Well, we ended up getting to his program in the afternoon, but it was closed. The doors were closed, and they wouldn't let us in. And they redirected us, and they put us into this other small classroom with this gentleman by the name of Eldon Taylor. Does anybody know Eldon Taylor? Okay. You may want to look him up. He's the father of subliminal messaging. He creates subliminal tapes, stop smoking, gain confidence, all the practical stuff around subliminal tapes. And a lot of times people are like, does that stuff really work? It's invisible. How do I know, right? It's ocean waves to me. How do I really know I'm gaining confidence? I maybe feel a little bit more confident after listening to it, but how do I really, really know? And so what he was doing was he was convincing, and he was a scientist, he was a researcher, and he actually was a government contractor, which was strange and unusual for him to be able to showing us what we saw. Fanny and I had no place to sit but the front row, because that was the only seats that were available. And as he started to talk about subliminal messages that are in advertising, we kind of leaned forward. Like, really? He goes, oh, they're all over the place. And he started showing us. There was one Honda commercial where he said, when you see it, raise your hand, but don't tell anybody. And Fanny actually saw it before me, but people's hands were going up, and I'm watching it. And it's below, I believe it's 1/50th of a second that the human mind cannot see it, but the subconscious mind absorbs it. And in a Honda commercial, there was a subliminal frame that was in there. And it was weird, the things he was showing us. Quite often the color red, there was certain geometric figures, there was the word fear. Believe it or not, why was it there? So after that, I made a choice not to watch TV anymore. And the reality was, I was like, I want to go and tell everybody in the entire world what I saw, but I maybe looked at it as a conspiracy theorist because they were not sitting in that same seat and watched that themselves. So I tell people, research Eldon Taylor. But the truth is, as I did tell people, I had two reactions. One person saying, I can believe it. Yeah, I can believe it. And another person saying, nah, that would never happen. I don't know what he was showing you, but it's not true. Isn't that the truth? And it's the nature of reality. We awaken ourselves, but we're not necessarily in control or even in influence of those around us. And as much as we try to be, everybody's on their own path of awakening, whatever that is. It's like Plato's allegory of the cave. If you've heard the story before, it's been shared many times, where people are handcuffed or chained facing a blank cave wall, and all they're seeing is shadows of people passing between a source of light, a fire, and that wall. And these become scary monsters. These become a story. Quite often we carry a story based on what we see. And then one person breaks free and realizes the source of this people is the true source, and comes back and tells the rest of the people, and they say, I don't believe you. We all wake up in our own given time, in our own given moment, and in our own given way. And so when we start to understand that we have these three levels of awareness, to not necessarily give our power away to the outside source. Not to say that you can't trust anything, because that's a victim consciousness, but being self-aware. Being self-aware. It's like this scene in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy realizes she really is wearing the slippers. She's got the power, right? She already has this with her. Even though this long trek going down the yellow brick road of life, the analogy of everything that we approach our fears, our cowardliness, do I have thought? Do I have a brain? All these things that are insecurities, only to seek a savior outside of ourselves called the wizard, who secretly is behind a curtain projecting a mean, fearful message onto a screen. When we wake up, we realize that our little dog pulled that curtain. We become awakened beings of light. We become the truth that we know. And when we heal their emotional triggers, we not only resolve that for ourselves, we resolve that for our community, our family, our friends, our relationships, our world. We are the changes. We are the light workers. We are the saviors of tomorrow. It's not outside of ourselves, it's within ourselves. And the more that you come to this center, and the more that you practice spiritual awakening on whatever level you do, whether it's different, there's different modalities. Gratitude practice, I love gratitude practice, meditation, journaling, EFT, emotional freedom technique has been very effective for a lot of people. But I would say science of mind treatment, working with a practitioner. And there's even a practitioner, there's a prayer called the 7-step prayer. We're trained in this 5-step prayer, but there's a 7-step prayer, which is the awareness of the denial of the truth. And this is very, very practical at times like this, where people have something that's coming up in them. And it's not to say that that does not exist, but to bring that forth and at the same time bring the reality and the truth and to anchor within that, the power within you, the truth within you. And to know that you are the one that can bring that home. You are the heroes of tomorrow. You are the destiny that is forthcoming. You are the awakening that is happening at this very moment. Let us take this into prayer. As the song had shared, there is one power. There is one power. There is one infinite grace, one infinite love, one infinite beauty that bestows upon to itself this thing called free will, this thing called unconditional love that allows itself to nurture, to grow, and to blossom into many different forms, into many different ways. And one of the things is awareness. Awareness is a consciousness in a level that is birthing and is awakening at this very moment. So as I know that this one infinite power that it blesses, absorbs, and moves through all things, through all possibilities, and through all life, that it is within me, within my voice, within this prayer, it's within this community, both here physical as well as online. It is in this now moment. And as I speak of that consciousness, I know that all are blessed with this light, with this love, with true abundance, with the beauty of health and well-being, with the expression of the creative purpose that rises within, with the awareness of self and the divine intuitive openness of God, of spirit, of love consciousness, of light. And as I surrender these words with a grateful heart onto the law of mind, that which makes so, we anchor it with the words, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah. Okay, now is our time where we practice the law of circulation, which my husband can attest. I'm very good at the going out part of circulation, and I've been so blessed to be on the receiving end also. But we're having Debbie and Bea are coming up. Michelle? Oh, these lights. Oh, you switched. Okay. So there are several ways that we can give. We can text to tithe. We can use PayPal or push the donate button on our website. We can mail a check to CSL Cape Coral here in Cape Coral. Or the old-fashioned way, we have ushers that will come forward and you can put your circulation into the basket. So before we, and in turn, We support the Cape Coral Caring Center Community Cooperative with your food donations, and we also tithe to our home office in Colorado that provides us with the lovely magazine that I read from and our classes, curriculum. That's where we got our candidate, our wonderful minister, Reverend Chris, through that process, and the home office. So we are so grateful to be able to support them as well. So we do have something, an affirmation we like to say before we collect our money, our funds. If you'll join me. Today, I know the activity of divine abundance is at work in my life and the life of this center. I give and receive generously as I live in the flow of bountiful good. And so it is.
Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good. Standing as one in the presence of the power, standing where others have stood. Gladly we offer the gifts of our abundance, knowing the source of our good.
So one thing I noticed, if you're watching online, you just see mouths moving down when we bless the money, the offerings and gifts we have received. So I thought I would speak into the microphone for the people that are watching, like I do when I'm not here. With appreciation and love, we accept these offerings and gifts. Divine love flows through me and blesses each gift and each giver. I know that all that has been given here circulates to do great works both within this spiritual community and in the world at large. Standing in gratitude, I release these words, so please join me in saying, and so it is. Thank you. And I think the lovely Adelia's coming up.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And thank you, Ron. That was amazing. Thank you. It was really great. So now we just have a couple of different things that we are going to just share with you. So CSL Cape Coral has game night that's coming up July 14th. Game night. I'm not a game person. I really am not, because I don't like to lose. But I think it's a lot of fun to watch people compete against each other. So game night is July 14th, and we're serving, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have refreshments. It's from 7 to 9. And the next beautification day is going to be July 22nd from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. And our beautification angels, you know who you are out there. And we're just going to ask those that feel like they're into flowers. And yeah, I'm telling on myself, I don't do gardening either. I can't ruin my nails. But you know, I do other stuff in the center. So join us, and it's a lot of fun. And I know Phyllis just comes here and blesses all the plants and everything. And we're going to have a Reiki healing experience, and that I know that's always a wonderful thing to do. I honestly cannot read this that's out there, but it's going to be $40 in advance, and if you all can read that, $50 at the door, and I think that's coming up soon, right? July 29th from 10 to 2 p.m., and our Reiki Masters, Patty Carney and Karen Gidley, are going to be doing that, and that is wonderful, and I suggest, because it is a beautiful experience. And then we have an 11-step meditation that we're going to be doing on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. It's a 20-minute silent meditation, and then a 20-minute speaker on the 11th step and their experience, and 20-minute open discussion. And that's started already, I think, right? It started on July 6th, and I hear it's really wonderful. So I'm probably going to jump on that bandwagon soon. And then, of course, the midweek tune-up, and we just want to remind everybody that it's really an awesome experience. It really is, that midweek tune-up, because we get the opportunity for an hour and a half to sit together and really discuss principle and how we're going to live them. A couple of months ago, Reverend Chris asked us 3 questions. Who am I? What do we desire? And how do we act upon it? And midweek tune-up is all about that. How do we use these principles in our lives? And just miracles ahead. Make our day. Let us pray. Don't leave without that 1-minute miracle. We're all going to be out here. Certainly come up, and we'll embrace you with love and prayer. And, of course, if you want to do extended, spiritual practices, we're willing and able to talk to you about doing that. And I've been told, too, I'll tell on myself again, I am a mango junkie. So I hear there's boxes of mangoes out there. Please feel free to take some mangoes home, enjoy them. I normally leave them out in the pantry for a couple of days and let them get really sweet, and then I slice them up and eat them. So with all that, I'm just going to thank you for being here today, and know that everything who we are, again, we live in that one power. And, when I heard Ron speaking today, one of the things that I always take away from these talks is it's not about me hearing what's been said today, but going out and living it in my community and in my world and spreading the love. So we're going to leave you with one last time with the big love band. So here we go.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet.